Little Caesars changed the game, bro.
They did.
Little Caesars changed. That's the most shot shit.
Hey, Chewy, blood. They want you on the podcast, bro. Look, he Mexican, bro. You gotta put him on.
Am I interrupting your depression? I'm sorry.
This week's episode of The Voice Party is brought to you by Big Boy Wraps. Get your car wrapped by some of the most experienced and skilled in the Bay. Big Boy Wraps, where the big boys play.
Make some noise for Annette Mulaney. What's up, Annette?
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Not that great?
No, I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. Just a little tired, but I'm excited to have you here finally. We talked about doing this a while back, and there's a lot to cover.
There is, but do you need a caffeine pill to wake you up?
Nah,
Because I got them.
I'll get hella anxious.
Okay.
And then
How strong are those?
I'm not good with caffeine.
They're about 200 milligrams. You can tear them in half for 100, which is like a cup of coffee is like 120 milligrams usually.
I'll give him like two.
I'll give him one.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Just toss it over. For Voice Party first.
Voice
Party doing drugs live on air.
Has it been tested for fentanyl?
I took it.
She's we'll die together. That's great.
I wake
Thank
up
you.
and pop those and go to the
Oh,
gym.
no shit.
Oh, yeah. I'm addicted.
Okay, so I don't know if it's me, but like caffeine.
Do you even make sure that that's what it was? Do you read the label?
It says awake.
She could have just gave you anything.
It says awake on there.
Wait, let me see. It says awake. That was what
It's
you went.
acid. The next 12 hours. This podcast is going to be fun.
Fucking tripping.
Well, I'm sweating all of a sudden. It's okay.
Because why is there 3 of everybody?
That was the quickest I've ever seen anyone agree to a pill. It's like, yeah.
Yo, people act like when I offer them caffeine pills, a lot of the time people act like, like I'm offering them meth. They're like, you take caffeine pills? Do you have a problem? And I'm like, it's easier. Like I can't drink black coffee when I wake up in the morning on empty stomach and go to the gym. Like
But
I'm proselytizing.
They remember that Saved by the Bell episode. That's
They
what
do.
It is.
oh yeah, where she overdoes it, right? So I've had it was a caffeine powder, and it made me throw up.
Oh.
So that I don't know if
What,
it's
like creatine or something?
No, like caffeine powder.
powder.
Straight up.
That sounds like
It was in a
Like a pre-workout?
Yeah.
Pre-workout is mostly
caffeine.
yeah, that makes sense.
How much would a cup of coffee have? I guess it depends on the coffee, right? Like how much is that in like what he just took?
What he took is like a
2
big
cups
cup of coffee.
Okay. That's not so bad.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not insane.
Like I see this dude drink Rockstar or
No.
Red Bull.
Thank you.
Like
He's like, don't insult
like
me
he's
with that
sipping water.
Don't put me down.
Is there a tier?
Yeah.
Like Rockstar to
Yeah.
Wait, is Rockstar above or below Red Bull?
below.
Where's
It goes-
Monster? Monster's the bottom, right?
No, I would say I'd say Bang is the lowest because they'll sponsor.
Bang.
Yeah, because they'll sponsor anybody, right?
Please
It goes by
Voice Party
sponsorship.
podcast or 2 Nuts 1 Sack. Thank you, Bang. We love you so much.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, don't worry. I don't want a Bang sponsorship.
Okay, well, shoot.
I'll take
Support
it.
me. Support
Bang,
now.
I would say Rockstar just personally because I think it's trash, and then you're gonna go Monster and Red Bull.
Monster, then you got Monster above. Nah, dude.
No.
Red Bull's kind of classy, right? Like
Yeah.
you go to a bar, you get like a
You don't-
Red Bull
yeah,
and
you don't get-
vodka.
No, Red Bull, like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
You
would
don't get a
switch
vodka and Monster.
and Rockstar.
No.
Yeah.
You get a vodka and Monster or Rockstar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
isn't
I mean, I don't, but you can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it tastes
that's
way,
the
it tastes
thing.
because it tastes way better too. Than,
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No.
Yes. I drink energy drinks too.
I am an alcoholic.
Okay, well, I'm a comedian now. I drink alcohol all the time.
Comedians are all alcoholics.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we can agree that different tastes are a thing.
Yeah, I'm right though.
Yeah, no, he's not.
There is objective truth when it comes to taste.
Okay, so how many of those do you take a day?
1.5.
Oh, really? Just 1.5? Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Is it spread out?
Yeah. You got your morning pill to go to the gym.
Okay.
And then I have my mid-afternoon half a pill.
Can you just buy them anywhere?
Oh, yeah. They're at Walgreens. They're super cheap.
Okay.
Like it's my pre-workout because pre-workout is like weirdly expensive.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you just, most of it's caffeine. They're dirt cheap.
Is that like it amps you up in the gym? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Is that why you got injured?
A little bit, yes.
When I first met you, you were on crutches doing stand-up.
Yep.
Yeah.
I miss those days. Oh my God.
People will help Annette out so much because she's like, move, get out the way, back up, right? And they're like, oh, Annette, do you need a place to sit? Like
Yes.
it was
sick. I would roll up to shows and then I would get like a little booth and producers would go run and like grab me drinks. Like Bryant was so nice to me at Copper Spoon. I'd sit down and he'd like go get me a drink, go get me stuff, clear the way. I just would crutch up on stage slowly. The audience is sitting there like, oh, this little crippled girl's about to tell jokes.
It used to be funny because I was like, Annette, are you loving it? She's like, oh yeah.
I milked it as long as I could. Like you already had the audience on your side. I didn't even have to be like, I would roll up and the first thing I would be is like, I'm getting a lot of dick with these crutches. And the audience would be like, oh, we support you.
Did anybody think you were doing like prop comedy?
Yes. Every once in a while someone would be like, is that real? I'm like, you think I'm committed to this bit this much?
The method actress right there. Just
Although, did you use the crutches long after you didn't need them?
No.
Or you got rid of them as soon
I
as
got
you
rid
could?
of them, but I had people recommend to me. They were like, just bring the crutches and use them as part of your act. And I was like, I can't.
I used to, like, if I got hurt and, like, because I used to hurt my knee and stuff like that, right? I would always bring crutches to the DMV to skip the line.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was
Okay,
like
well, I might have
time-
used it for that one.
I remember one time I got out, like I got out and just stood up and I was like, oh, and I grabbed the crutches and I crutched all the way up to the front. It was a long line.
You had crutches for a while, like during this, no? Like when you were.
Oh no, yeah, because I was like on crutches
Yeah.
for like a week and a half,
Yeah,
2 weeks.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a trip. Yeah.
From your knee or?
Yeah, from my knee. It was literally I was trying to get back in shape and I did too much,
Yep.
and my knee.
The universe said no.
Yeah, the universe said no. My knee literally locked up and I couldn't like bend it.
Oh.
Like yeah. And then I had to walk into the ER and the doctor, he was like, yeah, I saw you limping in. That's not good. And I was like, what do you think? He's like, oh, I don't think it was. I was like, is it? Because I've had like sprains. So I'm like, is it MCL sprain or something? Because it was right here on my meniscus. He's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe just like be on crutches for like a week and a half and then come back.
What kind of doctor is this?
That's why I was like, what
He's
the
like,
fuck?
man, your shit seems all fucked up.
Yeah.
It was his first week.
Yeah. But then, funny thing about it, a week later, perfectly fine.
So he was right.
Maybe he was a
right.
good
I was like,
doctor.
oh, so, yeah.
What happened to you?
Which time?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Well, how did it start?
Start with the first. Start when you probably messed.
It started with caffeine pills.
No, so when I was in high school,
Oh,
I
shit.
ran a whole bunch. I was really good at running. And then I messed up my knee and I had to have eventually 4 surgeries for that. Then years later, I'm like super in shape. I'm like, long distance hiking was my hobby. I would go out every weekend and do like 25 miles, do through hiking, went rock climbing, slipped, fell, sprained my ankle. That's when I started comedy because I couldn't do anything. And I was like, I'll try this comedy thing.
Was it that easy for you? You were just like, I'm just gonna go up on. and
No,
find
no.
something?
Every day was terrible.
Okay.
The first 6 months, because I also had like stage fright, and that's why I wanted to try it. But the first 6 months of doing comedy was just every day around noon. If I was going to go to a mic that night, I would start feeling sick to my stomach. And just the rest of the day, the sick feeling would grow and grow, and I couldn't eat. And then I would go on stage, and it was like my head was screaming at me the whole time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's
So
a little bit.
a stage fight was really bad.
It was, I mean, it was regular. I don't know.
What,
That's
so
not
was
really-
it
Pretty
like
intense stage fight?
you were forced to sit still, so you kind of wanted to still get some kind of adrenaline rush?
Yeah, and I'd always just I'd wanted to try because I
Yeah.
was afraid of speaking, and I would have to do things like at my job, get up in front of a bunch of like nerd ass engineers, so I could tell myself logically like they're more scared of you than you are of them. But still, I would get hella nervous to talk to them.
Look at me.
Look at the girl. But I still get so nervous, and I was like, I'll try stand-up comedy. I'll do a mic. I'll probably eat shit. But then, like, I'll learn that you can eat shit and you'll live,
Yeah.
and it'll be fine. So I went to Brainwash for the first one.
Oh, wow.
Went up on stage, ate so much shit. Like I was so nervous I couldn't finish my sentences. I would start jokes and be like, "Hey, you know how you gonna say?" People were like leaning in, and then Tony gave me the light, and I just put the microphone down on a nearby table and ran away.
Oh, shit.
How long ago was this?
This was 7 years ago.
Wait, you ran away or did you like with your crutches away?
Oh, I was on a cane at the time, so
Oh, shit.
I caned away.
And then I think I saw this set. 'Cause I remember, like, 'cause, like, I was like, Because I remember she did because it's like the mic stand, but it
Yeah.
was just like on the table.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? Because I was sitting down. I remember I was like, and then she just put it on the table. I was just like, who is this?
I think I like grabbed the mic stand and it didn't immediately go in, and I just
gave up.
panicked.
Yeah.
Yep. I definitely
Panicked
did.
and gave up.
I think I did something to say.
Would you say you're a very like shy person? Because when we talk after the shows, you kind of seem a little like shy.
Oh, really? I guess when I'm sober, yeah.
Oh, because I have the same thing kind of. Sometimes when I'm talking to people after the show, like, you know, first time meeting them, I'm just kind of like, oh, hey. And they're like, what? Why are you shy? Like, I don't know. I've never been, I guess I just did the same thing to you. Why are you shy?
Why are you so quiet? Why are you weird?
Meeting you at shows, we ended up, I mean, you talk about it in your stand-up, but I asked you about it because I was so interested in your story about, like, you lived in Syria.
Yeah. I moved to Syria in 2007, just after I graduated college.
Okay.
And I had studied Middle Eastern studies and some Arabic. And the year before, I had gone to Egypt for 6 months.
Okay.
And studied there and learned like a little bit of Arabic, but honestly, my Arabic was pretty shit. So that was the whole point. I was going to go to Syria. I was going to get better at Arabic. And then eventually, you know, I would move into the State Department and take it over and become Secretary of State and fix all American foreign policy in the Middle East. I, at 22, knew exactly how to do it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this is simple.
Very ambitious.
So yeah, I moved to Syria in 2007. I ended up staying there for like 2.5 years.
Oh, wow.
Then moved back to the States to go to grad school. Spent 1 summer back in Syria in 2010. Came back for the school year to here, and that's when the Syrian civil war started, and I have not been back since.
But so how was the 2 years living there? Because that's right before it shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea anything was going to pop off.
Wow.
Like when the Arab Spring first started happening, you know, and like Tunisia had a revolution, Egypt had a revolution.
yeah.
And people at my grad school where I was studying political science were like, do you think Syria's going to pop off? And I was like, no, absolutely not.
Let's wait it out.
Nothing's going to happen in Syria. Syria's going to be chill. And, you know, I think that was the beginning of me being like, maybe I shouldn't make policy. Maybe. I can tell you a lot of facts about Syria, but apparently I can't predict good.
This is a good time to invest in Syria, guys.
I'm like the Jim Cramer of political conflicts.
It's not like you had a network of spies scoping on everything that's going in the country like the real Secretary of State has access to.
That's true. No, I just had like, you know, I got married in Syria, so I had my husband's family, all my friends there. In hindsight, we all did live in the capital, and we're like, and the revolution started in the countryside, and
They lived in the good part.
Yeah.
You know, where there were no problems. And then it started in the hood or the people who was like starving, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why she probably couldn't predict.
Do you still keep in touch with people over like during like all the craziness?
Yeah, I kept in touch with some people. It got a little complicated because my husband and I divorced during the Syrian civil war, and so like I kept in touch with his mom for a bit, but she would kind of be like, you should get back together with my son. And I was like, okay, maybe we shouldn't talk so much.
You're like, where is he politically?
Wow.
And then, you know, I have a bunch of friends who have migrated to Europe or Turkey as refugees. Some people I didn't keep up with because they were kind of like mad at me for divorcing their bro.
Of course.
Yeah.
A casualty of the war.
Yeah. Well, this is like the worst thing I can say, but because my ex and I were planning to move back to Syria once I got my grad school degree, and we were going back every summer, and I was only here for the school year, and then we didn't go back because of the war. I'm like, I'm kind of a refugee. How did I end up in California? Well, the Syrian civil war, if you must know.
Now I depend on stand-up
Don't you
comedy.
go to grad school too? Yeah, that too, though.
Yeah.
So what are you doing now? I do stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Well, how was it? The 2 years you were living there, like, did you did you move there because of your husband, or how did that happen?
No, so I met him there.
Okay.
Actually met him like the first week I got there.
Oh wow.
I got a Fulbright scholarship to go study in Syria. And I met at the like Fulbright reception in DC. I had met a dude who was also going to Syria, and he was going 3 months before me. So I was like, okay, I'll look you up when I get there. As soon as I got to Syria, I looked him up. He's like, hey, come out. He was living with some dude, like at this dude's house with the dude's mom and the dude's brother. They had met playing World of Warcraft in a internet cafe. And I started hanging out with this group of friends, and that random Syrian dude, that some dude I had met at a reception, I ended up marrying.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, like
love story.
Actually, the story's pretty fun. A month into living in Syria, I was so horny. I had not like hooked up. I was horned up. When I first got there, I did not want to play into the stereotype they have about Western women, which is that we're all whores. And then a month in, I was like,
fuck it.
am I just supposed to not be a whore ever? This is insane.
Somebody find me a husband.
So what was the style for Syrian women?
So Syria at that time, like, it was pretty secular. I'd say maybe half of women wore hijab, half didn't. The Moors are a little bit different than here. Like if you were wearing a tank top, shoulders, you wouldn't have cleavage out. But it wasn't like against the law or anything. You would just get hella looks. It'd be like if you were like walking around with your tits out now. Like it's not illegal, but like you're gonna get looks.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't that illegal?
No.
Is it illegal?
That's public nudity.
Yeah, indecent
No.
exposure.
Yeah,
In California?
Not in California.
Well, if you had nothing on.
Titties are legal.
Yeah?
I think you got to cover your junk, but I think titties are legal.
Oh, I thought you had to be
I think-
breastfeeding in order for that to
Yeah,
be okay.
I think that's
Like if you're not doing
Really?
something
Yeah, let's look that up.
functional, they go.
I think that actually is illegal.
That's California.
I'm
think
not
people
gonna lie.
don't care.
Yeah.
but I think
full
it's
nudity for
I-
sure.
full. No, yeah, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that
Unless you're in a state river.
or
Oh, really?
no, or a nude beach. I guess.
Yeah.
that wouldn't.
I've seen it like
Yeah.
then you see like a naked dude like, hey man, put some
Hey,
clothes
man.
on. It's like, what about
Hey
her?
man, that ain't cool.
She's cool, man. She's cool.
I always, you see like the naked
Sexist.
dudes in San Francisco.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The thing I'm like, this is not a warm city. I don't leave the house without a jacket in San Francisco, and you're just going with a sock, bro. Like,
They're
So
mentally
in
ill,
California, it says showing breasts are in public are lewd behavior and may violate indecent exposure laws in California.
oh, we got to
May.
change that law.
man. Keyword is may. So it's I guess it's by
Yeah.
So I guess it
Yeah.
depends on what cop is.
I want to be able to walk
And
around.
I
That's
guess
what it
if you're
is.
Well,
breastfeeding
cops are
too, they're
infamously
like-
cool, so I'm sure it's never a problem.
Maybe
Totally.
a gay cop would come over there like, you are under arrest. But the average.
Ew, no one wants to see those.
Wait, so the way you said it, I mean, it's like how you were looking for a husband. It seems like you were just like, you.
I mean, he was nearby. The night we like first got together, I had gone to a party with Americans, which I tried not to do too much, or not really Americans, but foreigners. And I had gotten drunk, and I was like, I think I'm gonna call him. So I called him. I'm like, hey, you want to come out to this part of the city I'm in? And he was like, well, I'm with this other dude, Raed. And I was like, okay. Can you come over here or not? And he was like, yeah. And then he shows up with Raed, and I'm like, God damn it. So we're walking through the streets. Luckily, Raed like goes a little bit up ahead to talk to another person. And so we're going through the narrow streets of the old city of Damascus, which is like a several thousand-year-old city. And it's like really windy. So we turn a corner, and I look behind, and I don't see anyone. So I lean over, and I grab his ass. And I say, Bidduck, which means you wanna in Syrian. And he doesn't know what to do. So he just kind of freezes.
I was gonna say he's looking for action.
He's like, this does not happen.
Yeah, he's like, and this was like, he was, how old is he? He was probably 23, virgin, and I'm not going to speak for all Syrian women, but I don't think it's very common to grab men's asses in the street.
Oh, definitely not.
So he didn't really respond, and so I did it again, which in hindsight was assault, yes. But so I did it again. I grabbed his ass and I said, "Bidduk," and he was like, "Yes." And then we spent 2 more hours trying to get rid of Raed and made out a little bit.
So you guys started the war so you could go. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Then I tried to introduce the concept of friends with benefits into Arabic, and that did not go well.
Yeah, I can imagine.
No, we're married now.
Yeah, so we kind of accidentally ended up dating, accidentally ended up living together, and then
Accidentally got married.
Did
you go to Vegas and then come back to Syria just to get married?
Now, do couples do that often in Syria where they're living together?
No, it's like illegal.
I kind of figured.
Yeah, that's actually how we got married the first time. Is that
First time?
so?
You heard that too, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, we got Islamically married in Syria, not legally, and then I've sponsored him on a fiance visa to the United States. We did like a 90-day fiance thing, and then we got married here legally. It was really hard to get legally married in Syria because I'm a foreigner, so the Interior Department would
I
have
thought
had
you was a refugee.
to this country. To that country, I was
Tourist.
actually undocumented at one point. I overstayed my visa.
Si se puede.
This is real nefarious. Because they started kicking out all the Fulbright scholars because the U.S. and Syria were beefing.
Yeah.
We bombed their country.
Yeah.
You know, on the Iraqi
drones
border.
and all that?
Yeah. They weren't stoked, and
Really, they weren't.
No.
But we worked hard on building those
we were like,
bombs.
I was like, guys, it's freedom. Aren't you stoked? And they were like, no.
Ingrates.
Freedom bombs coming.
So they started kicking out all the former Fulbright scholars who were still living in the country. Like I heard from some of these people, like literally secret police showed up at their door, were like, pack, and escorted them to the border.
What would they do? You were just stuck
Not the
there at the border?
airport, the border.
Yeah, the border. Well, then you like, try to hail down a bus or something.
Syrian ice, basically.
Yeah, like they just took them to Lebanon or took them to Jordan.
Damn.
Figure it out.
Damn.
My friend, one of the people I knew in Syria said that it was the most stressing packing experience of her life, just having the 2 Syrian policemen standing there watching her pack, being like, hurry. And she's like, I didn't expect this. And they're like, do you need all that stuff?
Damn.
Yeah.
If you want to stay, you'd be like, I'm a spy. So they throw you in jail, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to stay at that.
I've got nowhere else to
Wait,
go.
so you
anyway.
escaped that? You avoided that?
Yeah, I did avoid that I flew out of Syria. So I have 2 passports.
Okay.
I'm an Irish citizen because my father immigrated here in like 1979. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did mention it.
Yeah, so
And
EU.
there were still tensions, right? Over in Ireland.
When he immigrated, hella tensions. And I think that's actually.
Oh, yeah, another area with a lot of bombings at the time and stuff, right?
Yeah. It's wild because Ireland actually brought peace in like 1997 with the Good Friday Accords, which is part of the reason why I was so naive when I was younger about like peace in the Middle East, because we had just seen peace get made in Ireland, this like intractable conflict.
You didn't realize how long that took.
It took a minute.
Give it a few weeks, guys. Come on.
See, we just got peace in Ireland.
Yeah, I was like,
let's
let's make it Palestine. Let's do everything.
Hundreds of years of like religious disagreement. It can be resolved
How long?
in just
It was what?
minutes.
From the 70s to the 90s, right? That.
Oh, the Troubles in Ireland?
It was way longer.
It was longer than that,
Yeah. Well, the Troubles, I believe they started in the 60s, but the Troubles is kind of like, it began with a Catholic
Protestant
civil rights movement.
Okay.
Because Catholics like weren't, they weren't given jobs. It was like very much an oppression situation. So that's when the Troubles began, because the Catholics started to organize for civil rights. The Protestants started to organize like militias, and the police were really like, there were no Catholics in the police force.
And there was like a lot of car bombings in that time, right?
Yeah, tons of car bombings.
Jesus.
Which is one of the most fun words to say in Arabic, by the way.
What is it?
Sayada mufakhakha.
Stay out of here, motherfucker. That's what I heard.
I feel so bad because it's like, it's obviously like a really sad thing. But
the word's
it's
fun
so
to say.
fun to say mufakhakha. But so with the Irish passport, I used that. Yeah, how I evaded Syrian immigration. So I went to the airport. I flew out, went to Jordan, bought a one-way ticket, at the Jordanian airport, I switched passports, and so I left because they don't know what plane you come in on.
You're like
Right.
Jason Bourne,
They don't
dude.
check. If you go through land borders, you can't change passports. They'll freak out at you because you'll like leave. You have to leave a country with the passport you came in on, but in the air you can switch. So I flew into Jordan. They were like, "Where'd you come from?" I was like, "Ireland." They're like, "Cool, stamp my Irish passport." I took a bus to the Syrian border, went in on my Irish passport, and then stayed for like another year.
Brilliant.
Yeah. They caught me the last time I left Syria. We were going by land to Jordan because it was cheaper to fly out. And as we're going by land, we were taking like a shared taxi. They stop me. They take me out. They take me into the back for like 2 hours and start asking me questions. What do we call it? Interrogating. And they're interrogating me and they're asking me all those questions. They're like, "Did you have a Fulbright scholarship?" They first started asking me a list of names if I knew them. And I did, but I was like, I don't know. They were all Americans who had been living in Syria previously with the Fulbright scholarship. So they were clearly leading up to it. The end of the 2 hours, we had missed our taxi. They were like, "Yeah, you're banned, by the way. We found out about your passport little thing."
Oh no.
And I was like, we'll figure it out. You know, they were like, maybe. They were actually the officers who were talking to me were pretty chill. They were like, "But you are married to a Syrian, so when you get to America, go to the embassy and like maybe you can apply for a family exemption to the ban, etc." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then the Syrian civil war started, and we were like, "Oh, I guess."
No.
Depends on who wins, right? One side wins, hey, band over. What band? All the records are destroyed. Who knew?
Actually, I don't know. That office might have been bombed. We might.
Right? Now, I guess it makes sense that they would be aware because a person with an American passport got on that plane and then didn't check out. So I guess that would.
You're still there.
Yeah. Well, it's like it depends how much they share, right? Because as far as Syria was concerned, I left Syria, and then it was a flight to Jordan. I could have connected to anywhere. I could have gone back to Ireland. I could have gone back to the United States. And then in Jordan, which isn't big friends with Syria, so I don't think they would have a lot of intelligence sharing. They just knew some random Irish girl flew in that morning.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you were in the interrogation room for the 2 hours? Like, what was going through your mind? Like,
I was bummed out because I thought I might get banned from Syria. I was also stressed because the shared taxi had to take off. They waited like a half hour and they're like, "We can't wait for your stupid American girlfriend or wife or whatever." So I was like stressed because I was like, "We're going to miss our plane. We're going to have to find a way to get from the border to the airport now because our taxi's gone."
What you mean they can't wait? You realize there's American dollars sitting in that next room. She's got a 10.
It's hard. It's really hard when you go abroad sometimes not to be like, "Excuse me, come on, guys, you're not gonna ban me." And they're like, "Yes, we are. You literally violated our laws."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Yeah, but come on."
Well, you want a couple American?
How does that feel when they tell you though, like you're banned from like a country, and you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
like you just got fired." You're like, "Damn it."
I was bummed out. I was also like a little like, an entire country? You know?
The whole country said no.
You're like not just a part of it.
Yeah, the whole thing.
the whole thing.
Like I've gotten
Are you
thrown out
married
of.
still?
No,
Is that-
I got
you're
divorced 10 years ago actually.
10
Okay,
years
so-
ago?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay,
So when
okay.
when was this then?
2013.
I went to Syria in 2007. We left in 2010, and I got divorced in 2013.
Okay. Oh wow. Oh, so then you're just trying to go back though. When you get banned though.
I got banned in 2010.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh, damn. That's been out.
And you haven't tried to like go back to Syria since? Double check your ban status.
It's been not super chill since I left.
Good point.
I would like to go again one day, but yeah, between the ban and the war, thought it was best not to try it.
Yeah.
What was the thing you miss about it the most? Because I can imagine it was a huge culture shock going from here to over there.
Yeah, although I think in some weird ways I experienced more culture shock coming back. Because I went there and I lived for like 2-3 years, didn't visit the United States, got married. So I was living with my husband, his mom, his brother, had a job where I spoke Arabic all the time. Like just was
You were in the
enmeshed.
culture.
Yeah. And you kind of expect a certain amount of culture shock when you go, but coming back, I didn't expect. And one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't like keep a diary of what coming back was like. Cause I think for the first time I got to see a lot of things in America with outside eyes. You know, it's kind of like a fish realizing what water is.
Yeah.
But I didn't, like, I just remember everything, like even how, I remember I went to Palo Alto and I was using the thing to cross the road, the don't walk. And I was like, oh my God, that's insane. And it had never occurred to me as anything other than basic infrastructure. Yeah. But then I had played Frogger on the streets of Syria for like years. And I'm like, this is really nice, actually.
Wow. That's crazy.
What's something else that was like a big culture shock to you?
I think, well, part of it was seeing...
There's a black president.
Oh, man, that was wild because the 2008 election was going on when I was in Syria.
Yeah.
And people were stoked in Syria. And they would ask me all kinds of questions. Like, I went to mail in my ballot from Syria. And at the office, the guy's like, what is this? Like, it's an official U.S. ballot. And I'm like, oh, it's my ballot. I'm American. I'm voting. And he was like, did you vote for Obama? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, good.
He's like, send it in.
He's
like, it's allowed to go through.
Yeah, he was like, this is tight. He's tight. He's like, you're not voting for Bush. And I'm like, he's actually not running, but.
He's done.
But then he was like, he leaned in and he was like, is it true that Obama's a Muslim? And I was like, no, but I'm really heartened that you think America is in a place where we would potentially vote for a Muslim right now.
So going back to like something you just said right now, you do speak full Arabic. Like you can have a full on conversation.
Yeah, I used to be like crazy fluent.
Okay.
It's, in the 10 years since I got divorced, like my husband and I spoke Arabic at home.
Okay.
In the 10 years since, I haven't really kept it up the same way. So there's words I miss. I can hear my accent is heavier, but I can talk.
Did you get to a point where you thought in Arabic? Like
oh,
your
hell
thoughts?
yeah.
Oh, wow. So you were in it.
Yeah.
Because I see now you're posting content. You shot a video speaking all Arabic.
Yeah.
Recently, right?
Yeah. I've the last month I finally started doing stuff in Arabic, and it's doing so much better than my English on TikTok.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
So, question: can you give us a couple of examples of some differences between like Arabic grammar and English grammar? Just like one or two.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the trippiest things when you're learning is that Arabic has irregular plurals. Right? Like English, Spanish, plurals are pretty easy. Spanish, they're hella easy. English, there's a few irregular ones. You have like mouse and mice. That's all Arabic. I mean, they do have a few patterns, but it's really hard when you first start to figure out what the plurals are. And the whole shape of the word will sound different to us. Like a fun one, the word for whore is sharmuta.
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 Remember that.
The plural is sharamit.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Which is pretty
I
different.
can hear the similarity there.
Yeah, some of them sound even different. Like the word for shape is shekel, and then the plural is ashkal.
Oh,
wow.
So the same, like...
Wait, that was Ashkal?
Ashkal.
Okay.
So the same letters are there, but they're all changed up.
Yeah, flipped around.
Yeah, and I do remember when suddenly it made sense, and I couldn't explain like what the rules were, but at some point I was like, when I heard a new word, I could guess the plural 90% of the time, but I couldn't tell you why. It just sounded right. And that's when I was like, damn, I am getting good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just becoming natural.
Yeah.
Well, I asked that because I feel like now when I speak Spanish, I hear the accent now. Like,
Oh, you hear your like English accent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to, in my teens, my thoughts were in Spanish, and now it's all English.
Did you grow up speaking Spanish or both? Or
Mostly Spanish.
Oh, okay.
I learned English, real young, but I'm like seeing it now where like when I speak to they call it no sabo kid.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of that? Yeah.
I have.
I was explaining something. I was telling a story to my uncles, and I was like, "Fuck, I sound like a no sabo kid, straight up." And then they laughed at the way I said something, and I was like, I don't want to speak Spanish anymore for a while.
No sabo kid means what?
No sabo kid is just like a kid.
Don't know.
Don't know.
Don't know. Yeah.
That's so crazy. I mean, because I'm not a native speaker, I certainly don't hear any, like when I think of an American trying to speak Spanish, it's yo quiero, you know, TNA, you know, like that sounds like some.
It does sound, yeah.
But you don't sound like that. So I'm like,
in Spanish, I mean, there's little, you know.
But they also judge you more than they would.
Oh, for sure.
Some like.
Yeah. You could just say like, lechuga, and they'd be like, oh.
Yeah.
Great job.
Good job. And like, what's next? Tortuga. Like, oh.
Right. And you're having a full ass conversation, and they clown you for like the one thing you get wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
I'm definitely.
And I'll say, I say, like the word cabes, it's like, do you fit? And then I'll fuck it up sometimes. So si cabo, and I'm like, oh fuck, I know it's wrong, but I said it like, got you. Like you're banned from Syria forever.
I've definitely noticed the like. I mean, one, when I speak to people in Arabic, they're pretty stoked.
Yeah.
And they're pretty surprised because it's not something that a lot of foreigners learn. Mm-hmm. But I have been used to shame like Arabic no sabo kids. Yeah.
You shame them.
Yeah. Like my dentist growing up is Palestinian, and his kids didn't really learn Arabic. I came back from Syria, and I was like just shooting the shit with him. I knew all the dental terms as well in Arabic because in Syria I had eaten a bag of chips that a rock was in and like chipped my tooth once. Oh, shit. So I had to get that fixed. So I knew all the teeth words.
One of the dangers of Syria.
Yeah. You got to watch out.
So you're just hurting yourself left and right.
Always.
Throughout this like 10-year period.
But
was caffeine pills involved in that too?
Not yet. That was when I was addicted to Diet Coke instead.
Okay. Oh.
But
that's so bad.
His poor kids, he was like, you know, he comes home from talking to me and he had to start using English words for like medical dentist things because he didn't know them in Arabic. And he comes home to his kids, and I heard later from them that they were like, yo, this white girl learned Arabic really good. Like, why the fuck don't you guys know Arabic?
Do you get criticism for your videos like that you post on? Like, is it a lot of criticism from Arabic people for what you say? Like, or how you say it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit. The first couple videos I've done that have like popped off a little bit, I swear in them. And so some people are like, hey, it's actually like really bad to swear.
What's a swear word?
Oh, like whore, sharmuta. Qahbe, which means like slut. The word for fuck, you know.
What is that?
Oh, neek.
Oh, wow.
That doesn't sound dirty.
That sounds cute.
Yeah. It's kind of fun for every...
Nika sharmuta.
So you asked your now ex-husband, like, do you want to instead of Neek? Like, or did you say Neek, or did you
no.
be like fuck?
You wanted to be vague, right?
Yeah. I wanted to be classy, you know, because we didn't.
You did it twice. It's the sexual equivalent. Mic check.
Yeah. Sorry, is this on? Did you want to?
I did it twice, and then like, were you wondering like, is he still not getting it? And then you like almost said like Neek, like to like.
No. Because I also like, you know, we spent like, I don't know, weeks just making out and stuff.
Yeah.
It was also really hard to find places to be alone because he lived with his mom and his brother, and I was living with a family in the old city.
It's not like there's some hotel you two can just check into without people noticing.
We tried once
shit.
when we were engaged. When we were living together, we tried once to like go on vacation and check into a hotel. And at first, they take my passport and they immediately start like writing down, and they're all good. And then he brings out his Syrian ID, and they go, oh shit, you're Syrian? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, we can't give a hotel to a married couple unless they're foreigners.
Wow.
Yeah. Syria was like, you are not debauching our son today.
Dang.
Yeah.
What the?
It's like having a really strict parent everywhere.
Married couple specifically.
Oh no, we were unmarried.
Oh,
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have to be married.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a bit too.
But they know.
You could have said you were American and he's your Mexican husband.
Well, they were asking. They were like, "Do you not have another? Like, are you a dual citizen, or do you have another passport? We can check you in if you're not Syrian, but we can't check you in with this unmarried whore here."
So they wanted you to fuck, but they was just like, help us out a little bit.
How do you say unmarried whore?
Oh, sharmuta mumut zawje.
That's the name of this episode.
You're gonna have to teach us how to spell it. Like,
Okay.
English, and we'll name it that. But yeah.
But you've given, you said you've given shit to No Sabo kids.
I don't try to give people shit
In a funny way,
a fun way.
yeah.
Their parents will often give them shit.
It's indirect shit.
yeah.
Yeah, they'll be like, "Look at her, she speaks better than you. What the hell is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Well, I did move to Syria and I like studied it and I like really tried."
Yeah. Was that like? I mean, I guess you kind of answered it, but like, was Syria your first option that you wanted to go to when you?
Yes.
Before Egypt.
Yes.
Because Egypt popped off first, right? The
Tunisia
war?
actually popped off first.
Oh yeah.
And I did get to go to Tunisia the summer after the dictator
Dang, you're
fell.
just everywhere.
Yeah.
With war.
I was after.
You came during this.
It's like, I missed my Iraq opportunity
Yeah.
in Afghanistan.
I really missed my Iraq opportunity because while I was living in Syria, I knew an American. I knew a few Americans, but I knew an American who wanted to go to Kurdistan in the north of Iraq because, at that point they fucking loved Americans, right? Because they hated Saddam Hussein. They were oppressed. The Americans set up a no-fly zone that basically let Kurdistan set up its own government. And one summer he was like, "I'm going to go. Do you want to come?" And I was like, I got stuff to do. I have a job. Can't. I think that would have been my only chance. He said it was amazing. Like, he got to the border. He traveled around. He went to Mosul. He went to all these places in northern Iraq. And everywhere he went, they were like, "American? Amazing." Like, which is such a different reception.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of that. Like, the first week I was in Syria, I went shopping. And at one of the stores, this dude was like, "Oh, you're American? Let me show you something." And he started taking me to the back of the store. And in my head, I was like, this is dumb. What? Don't go into the back of the store with strange men. But I was also 22. And I was like, what could happen? We go to the back of the store and he takes down like a banner and underneath it is an American flag. And he's like, "We love Bush." What the? Oh my God. And I was like, oh shit. They're like, "We love America." He and his brother, they're like, "We're Kurdish. We have to hide this though." Yeah, I'm like, why do you even have that?
They're like, "Bush is theocratic. We're theocratic." Like, just words.
They were like, "Bush has liberated our country, Kurdistan, from Saddam." And I'm like, I'm not a fan, but you seem so stoked to show this to me right now. I'm not going to bring it up.
That's like that scene where he's like, "Hell Hydra."
Just let him walk out with the cake.
That's definitely
so brilliant. Yeah.
Did you guys like?
I like, cause
it was hidden behind. That's so
yeah,
funny.
he pulls it down. There's an American flag. He's telling me how much he loves Bush, and I'm just like,
right on.
This is a great scene in a comedy. I swear. Like,
you'd be like, "Oh, you don't know he's an
idiot." You build it with like uncomfortable tension. Like, you're American, come back here. You're like, "Am I going to get chopped up?" This whole deaf to American thing. Oh,
it's like a deep worship of your country.
You know, it would have been a lot funnier if he had like T-shirts of Bush on it too.
yes.
People like, "I wear this."
a Cheney bobblehead. Like,
And I'm like, "Do those sell?" And he's like, "No, not." They don't really move much in Syria.
Like, how was that the entire interaction? Like, I love Bush.
He was like, he loves Bush. We chatted for a little bit. My Arabic was pretty bad. That was just right when I'd moved to the country. We chatted the extent I could.
Yeah.
And then I felt weird, so I bought a shirt.
What kind of shirt?
They said, "I love Bush too."
I was like,
It had like skulls on it, and it had the word skull misspelled in English. It said skull. And I loved that shirt for years.
Sharamuskas for Bush.
Do they have like? Is shopping over there easy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry, like the styles and stuff. Like, do you get used to? Like,
of course, you asking about styles and shit like that. Of course, you
I'm
are.
just curious, like, because we're talking about like culture shock and stuff, like
Yeah.
different fashion, different this and that. So like, do you go there, find stuff you like pretty easily? Is it really similar to what's out here or no?
It's different in a lot of ways. Like, number one, it's more covered.
Right.
And there's also, at the time, there was like different ideas of what constituted whorish or not whorish.
Okay.
Like, there, it was considered very acceptable to wear absolutely skin tight clothing as long as it covered your skin. So there was actually these women
So you
who
can
were,
see the shape and all.
yeah,
that.
like everything. Like, you would see these women who wore hijab and then had like painted on jeans, like a lycra shirt,
Right.
but it was long sleeve, so everything was good.
Right.
We called those muhajja babes because muhajjaba is a woman who wears hijab. But like if you wore wide things, loose things, but like showed skin. So if I was wearing something that didn't really show my shape, but my shoulder was out, that would definitely be considered like more whorish.
Would you do? What would like? Did you ever get in trouble for anything like that, or how did you?
Oh, here we
Yeah.
go. This is good. Yes. Oh, yeah.
For the most part, no. But people would like if I was getting off of a bus,
Yeah.
and like bending down to get off of like they have these little Japanese vans that take you all around. If I was getting off and a shirt like came up a little bit, women on the bus would jump to be like, oh no, and like cover me. And I had so many friends tell me like, you need to get these like undershirts so that way like a sliver of skin will not show. And I'm like, whatever. But my final job I had in Syria was I worked as an editor for an English language newspaper that was just getting off the ground. I was the arts and culture editor. And there were 2 other foreign women who worked in the office, and like most of the foreigners who come to Syria, like the Americans and Europeans, are dirty hippies. Like, it's so funny because people,
We're here to bring peace.
they're just, I mean, it's who travels around the Middle East with a backpack.
Right.
Which is fun though, because it leads to these stereotypes. Like people would tell me, they'd be like, so American women don't wear makeup, huh? And I'd be like, the dirty hippies who come here don't wear makeup. And at the time, the eyebrow style was really thin and really well groomed. And they'd be like, you Americans, you have big ass eyebrows. And I'd be like, well, I have big ass eyebrows and am lazy, but Americans actually do wear makeup.
Right.
But we got in trouble in the office, and I had to have a talking to with the other Americans because we were wearing like wide clothes that were like kind of falling off. And I remember there's
like the Flashdance sweater.
yeah, like big sweaters
Yeah.
and like big baggy pants. And there was this one Australian girl who was like getting really frustrated because she was like pointing at another woman in the office wearing something skin tight but covering. She's like, how is that fine? But this isn't. She's wearing like wide pants that go to here. Yeah. So you can see her calves, and that's,
So it's
That's
like
the
someone
thing.
like
That's
so
such
chick
a
wearing-
weird or like a weird
like a
dodge.
woman wearing a leotard.
Yeah.
But because I got on shorts, I'm the inappropriate one.
Yes,
So
exactly.
if you were a woman, like this would not fly. No, I'm not being funny either.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
like,
Yes, you are.
Yeah,
If you button that up,
I mean, the thing about
no, because you're technically not showing show, like,
Yeah, no, like Cleve would definitely be. The thing is, it also like that was an office situation.
Okay.
So they had a talking to about us dressing more professionally. We were also dressing like dirty hippies. That was a bigger issue. Like they had a talking to like this poor Australian girl. They were like, you need to wash your hair sometimes.
oh my gosh, no.
Because she was like days away from forming white dreads. Kind of vibe.
Yeah.
You know?
You definitely needed to wash your hair then.
Oh, for sure. But she's kind of like, it's so,
She's like, I just need 2 more days to dread.
Yes.
Was she trying to dread or this just happened?
No, it was just kind of happening. I don't think she was against it though. I think she like would wrap her hair up in like big wraps.
At any point when you were over there, did you miss or would just want to come back here? Like,
Probably. I mean, I remember there were times like 6 months in, a year in, one of my friends visited and we went to a cafe and we sat and I remember just being like, oh my God, it's so nice to just speak English with someone who knows the same Saturday morning cartoons I grew up with. Like you realize how much you have in common with people that grow up in your same culture.
Yeah.
And like, while I didn't feel it every day that like I didn't, the more I lived there, the more I like got common ground with people, but there definitely is something about like people who, share your background. You just like have a certain like ease.
yeah. I know, like, every once in a while I'll hang out with an old high school friend and we'll go back and forth no mames way, like the Spanish. And that, I mean I get it's like right here. I'm not too far from not here. I mean it's here in California, like it's not too far. So I can imagine getting super homesick
Yeah.
being way over there where your lifestyle changes. I'm sure it wasn't like that here. You grew up here in the Bay?
No, I grew up in Michigan.
Okay. Well, that seems like a whole different fucking world from where you were, from Michigan.
Yeah, it definitely was different.
Would you do it again, like in a different country?
I've thought about that. I think it was good that I was like, I moved there at 22, and I think it was good because at that age I was like just ready to try stuff. now I think I'm like, I'm bougier. Like when I moved in with my ex-husband and his mother and the brother, we didn't have like a shower. You had to get like a pan of water and heat it up and like kind of dump it on yourself. And I think now I would be like, no, I'm going to a hotel. But at the time it was just like, it's what you got to do. It's not a big deal.
That's why your friend was forming them dreads. 'Cause she was like,
She's like, I'm not doing that.
I'm not boiling this shit today.
at least not on my hair, at least.
Yeah. But so, and then also it's stuff like I don't know that I would want to change how I dress now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a big.
Like I think I'm a much more strident whore these days.
But then you can wear because you can wear leggings. You wear a lot of
That's
leggings.
true.
Stuff
I
like
could
that.
wear my leggings.
And you were like sponsored by a legging company too, right?
Well, you were.
No. I wish.
Was it? Oh, okay, I
that
thought
it?
it was
mean,
something like that.
I've had legging companies hit me up, but they do this thing. It's not really sponsorship. They hit up people who don't have that many followers on Instagram but are clearly vain. And they go, you want to be sponsored. So here's a code. You get 30% off. Yeah. And then anyone who uses this code gets 10% off. And I'm like, I don't want to buy your leggings though.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I there's one company that I buy most of my leggings from, and I hit them up and I was like, can you sponsor me? Can you just give me a discount? I'm buying your leggings anyway. And they were like, we don't do influencers. And I'm like, I know, but I would make fun of it with you. Like we'd make fun of the idea of influencers, but also I would get them. I would get the leggings, and they turned me down.
Oh, dude.
Do you get the? Oh, sorry.
I want to, like, before I forget it, because I see the stuff you post on your IG, and I just saw that, like, someone offered to pay a picture of your armpit.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Oh my
Someone
God.
offered to pay for a picture of her armpit.
Oh, armpit fetish.
Well,
Was this in Syria?
I looked at the name and there was like nothing, it was like a private Instagram with no posts ever. But yeah, someone came into my DMs and
You post a few of those. So
yeah,
far.
yeah. But this one was wild. So first he came into my DMs and he was like, I'll pay you $200 for a phone call. And I was like, what do you mean in this phone call though? I don't do sex stuff. Mm-hmm. And he was like, you should, that's a shame. He was like, you should get an OnlyFans. And I was like, I'm good, actually. I'm chill.
I don't know why I was like, is this dude in jail and hella lonely? I didn't even think sex. I'm like, oh damn, this man doesn't have a friend.
I just the thought of the armpit just cracks me up. Like, what the fuck was? Because
people got their kicks.
I guess so. Yeah.
They'll ask for anything.
What were you gonna ask? Sorry, man.
That was better.
I'm pretty sure it was a scam. So then he's like, the phone call. Oh, it's not going to be sex. It's not for sex. I'm like, you just asked about my OnlyFans and you're offering to pay $200 for a phone call. Sure, you're not going to jack off.
It's like, hey, you want to come back to Syria?
I don't know. Is that necessarily a scam though?
No. So here's the scam.
The scam is that you don't get the money.
Yes.
Yeah.
The scam is that he is partially because I'm a comic, also because you get offered $200 for like a 10-minute phone call. You're like, let's see how this plays out.
Exactly.
Like also, this phone call is gonna be weird as hell, right?
Fuck it.
So let's do it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, how are you gonna send that money? And he's like, well, let's do the phone call first. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, how do I know you're gonna do the phone call if I send you the money?
Go, how do you know you're?
And I was like, how do I know you're gonna send me the money? And he's like, well, come on, you got to work with me here. And I said, no, I don't. I don't have to work with you.
You hit me up.
Yeah, I didn't suggest this.
Half now.
Yeah, like you're not even offering half. And he was like, okay, fine. And then like a day later, he's like, I'll pay you $400 for armpit pics. And again, I'm like, he's probably gonna do the same scam, but I was like, I'm listening.
Yeah.
Like, let me see some cash. And he's like, send me 2 armpit pics, and then I'll send you the cash.
He didn't say yours. You could have sent him a picture
That's
of
true.
mine, dude.
That's true. He's like, then I'll send you the cash. Then you send me the 2 other armpit pics. And I'm like, bro, I'm not dumb.
Yeah.
You don't get free pity pics from me.
Pretty pics.
That's the name of the episode.
That's
Free Pretty
amazing.
Pics.
Free pity. And it's wild because like as soon as I got that request for armpit pics, I was like, no.
You're all
suddenly,
self-conscious about your arm.
suddenly I'm like looking through my past Instagrams and I'm like, am I giving away the pits for free? Like,
You're like, this is the money maker.
You delete all of them.
These pits aren't free.
Okay, how about an elbow? 100 for an elbow. Like, oh hell.
like it's
No.
weird because it makes me think the thing is like dirty now. Like I've gotten requests for feet pics before, and normally, you know, I'm out there wearing sandals, like just giving them away. The second someone's in your DMs being like,
Can I buy them?
can I buy them? Or even just, can I have feet pics? And you're like,
Covering up
no,
your shoes.
not my footsies. No.
I never wear
It's like when cable.
once again.
That's like when cable companies stop giving you channels 2 through like 20 for free.
Oh yeah, the ones you ain't even watching.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what happened?
No,
What?
we don't get that shit
Bring
no
them
more.
back. No, like I have been watching you after you start selling the pit thing. I have seen you start going like you're on like
All my photos.
You know it's bad when you're wearing.
Hey, before you was on the podcast, you was like this, but then since the pit started, you just started just like.
That was that was an executive from Old Spice trying to hit her up for some.
Let me just. We're starting a new brand, a women's only brand. Just. I'm just trying to see if you can apply it good. You know?
Oh God.
It's so hilarious.
Oh, we're getting close to the end,
Okay.
but like I still want to hear like you. Is there another story that you have about Syria or anything? Because I have so many questions for you. Maybe you could come back another time. We could
I'd
do this
love
again.
to. Yeah.
But like I want any other stories you have about Syria that like, or anything in general. It could be armpit shit. Fuck it. Like
Just like one time I fell off a slide.
just go like this one time.
Don't be giving those away for free.
For
Keep
real.
those
Put it on
arms down.
Next time she comes, she's coming in a winter coat and hiking boots.
I guess this is a quick little story. It's fun. I made a video about this on my TikTok. So the word kahbe means slut, and it's like it kind of has the like swear badness equivalent of cunt in Syria. It's like really bad. So I didn't even hear it for the first year I was there. Like on the street, you'll hear people be like sharmuta and like kus achtik, like your sister's vagina is a very common swear word. Which is really fun because when you learn a language, you like learn it more literal than your native language.
Yeah.
Right.
So on the street, like I'd see someone like with a car that broke down, being like, "Cause the sayada," which means this car's sister's vagina. And like literally in English, if you were like, fuck this car, that literally means like, intercourse this car. But you don't think about it, right?
This motherfucking
Yeah,
car,
motherfucking car. You're not like...
outsiders see that more than we do. Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
But so like a year in, and I first heard the word kahpe with my friend, and I was like, oh, kahpe? And she was like, come on, it's a really bad word. And I was like, why is it bad? She's like, well, it means like sharmuta. And I'm like, then why is it worse than sharmuta? She goes, well, a sharmuta is a woman who has sex for money, right? But a kahpe is a woman who has sex because she likes it.
Oh man, all the feminists in the world just got.
And that's the clip.
Clip it.
The funny thing is I put that up on the internet, and then I had some people in English go in and they're like, what a sex negative culture. Like, I'm so glad we don't have those words. And I'm like, we have whore and slut. What are you talking about? That's literally what it is. But then to me, the best part is like later I was hanging out with my friend and we would go to her house. We would order delivery hookah. And we would stay up drinking wine and like hanging out. And her family was chill with it as long as we were at her house. So we're hanging out, drinking, smoking, chatting. And at one point she turns to me and she's like, you know, when I first met you, I thought all American women were like these immoral sluts. But like over the past year, I've gotten to know you and we've become really good friends. And now I know that you're like a slut and a really good person.
Clip 2.
And how would you say that in Arabic? Sharmuta and
like inti kahpe wa kaman insani katir taibe.
Oh, okay. That's I didn't catch that one at all.
But
oh my
and
god.
The wild like there were like one, I was like, well, hearts and minds, I am changing.
Yes.
But two, at the time, the reason she like said I was a slut very matter of factly is because I was living with unmarried with the dude who would become my husband.
Wow.
Yeah, degenerate behavior.
Jesus.
Y'all are living together and you are not married. How dare you?
Oh boy, how puritanical.
And you wore those shorts over here to my parents' house,
Yes. In front of my brothers.
right? And she's in a leotard.
Saw your calf.
Was that easy to explain to the family, like, over where I'm from, that's not inappropriate? Like, did you guys ever have those conversations?
No, most people most people are really nice. They also understand that you just have a different culture. Like in some ways being foreign in Syria was sick for having social anxiety. Because on one hand, like Arabic and Syrian culture has like a lot of rote conversations. Like if someone dies, you say this. When you greet people, you say these things, they say these things. Like if you see someone and they've had a haircut, there's a thing to say and a thing they say back. But then also being foreign, it's like there's a lot of rules, but then I didn't have to abide by them and people forgave me for being wrong.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
So yeah, you're kind of like in this weird space where you can like go into women's only spaces. You can also like, people don't care if you're a whore if you're not their daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
Like actually, people are pretty pro. The dude's very pro on me being a slut in Syria.
Right.
I mean, it's the same like with strippers.
Not mine,
Yeah.
little girl.
It's not my daughter.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of but yeah, so my family wasn't there. People didn't care. Like no one, admonished me or anything.
Yeah.
Did you have a Kraken wedding?
No.
No?
No. Our first ex-husband was like pretty poor.
Okay.
Like my dowry was 1 Syrian lira, which is like 50 US cents or 5 cents. I forget what it was at the time, but it was you have to put a dowry when you get married Islamically. We also got married so there's a long story, but the short story version is the cops found out where I lived and they knew that I was unmarried. And it became clear that the cops were just going to roll by every once in a while and demand bribes.
Wow.
So my ex-husband and I went out and just went to a judge and signed our Islamic marriage contract so that we would, next time the cops came by, we could be like, look, we're Islamically married. And they couldn't do anything. And that meant that we could also move in with his mom at that point. But yeah, so no wedding. We went down to the courthouse and had some random judge sign our marriage contract.
Like a Mexican in California marrying some white lady. You basically experienced the Syrian version of that.
A green card.
A green card marriage.
Yeah.
Wow.
And his mom was stoked. We basically went to her at the end of the day and we're like, hey, we got married. She was like, oh, yay. She was like, she liked me a lot. She was a little sad that her son was living in sin, but not a ton. She was just very glad that when we got married and could move in with her.
Would you recommend?
About time.
Yeah.
Would you recommend to someone to try to do something like that?
Oh, hell yeah.
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 Would you do it all over again?
Yes, I would. The marriage wasn't a good marriage, but I think it made me who I am today, and it changed.
Yeah.
I don't know. It also I got divorced by 27, which just changes dating because you're like, I've already done the worst thing. There's no pressure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. Yeah.
My family doesn't give me any pressure. They're not like, when are you going to get married? They're like, oh, you tried. I guess you were bad at it.
You tried.
But yeah, I would recommend going. If you have the chance to go live in a different country, I'm a white chick who grew up in the suburbs of Lansing, Michigan, and there's only so much you can see outside of your experience unless you go into places that are kind of uncomfortable. And I feel like I experienced so much and learned so much about the world and myself by going to Syria, and then. It was a trip when my husband and I immigrated to the United States, and I was next to him as he experienced America being Arab. I don't know if y'all know this, but there is racism in America. It's crazy.
Really? I had no clue.
And that's tried to say, but it's just it's on another level when I realized he was trying to get us an apartment because I was working. And after a week, I'm like, no one's written back to you? This is insane. You must not be trying. And I went to one of the emails he had written, and I wrote the exact same email, word for word, and I got a response back immediately. And I went, oh shit. Annette Mulaney is getting a response that Tadaka Saman isn't. Oh.
Tadaka Med, of course.
Yeah, right? Like, and on one hand, it's so obvious. On the other hand,
Right.
it just did not occur to me in the moment.
Yeah.
Right, because you didn't think of it. You didn't think of him as being someone that would be dehumanized because you're in a relationship with him. It was like, or you're in the whole other country where everyone looks like that. The names are common, so it didn't register.
Yeah, there's like a regular ass name, and yeah, it's wild to like realize. I mean, it's wild to say it's wild to realize this, but I think part of being white in America is that you're like you get to be racially naive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very much so. Yep.
Annette, thank you again for coming.
What a
Now,
great
this
way
has
to
been
end.
this has been a great like. I didn't know a lot of this about you. I mean, I feel like we talked a lot about this, but there's like so much that I didn't know. Before we go though, you want to plug your socials to our listeners?
Oh, yeah. I need
hell
to see
yeah.
some of these TikTok videos.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
TikTok, IG, whatever.
Yeah, it's ho_grammar.
Right.
Is it really?
Yeah, like a programmer, but a lady. But that's one thing that's fun is like you asked earlier, and we meandered about like whether I'm getting like any hate from doing these Arabic content things.
Yeah.
Way more hate in English.
Really?
Oh my God. In English, I put out clips and like if they get to a certain amount of views, I start getting the like women aren't funny.
Oh yeah.
I bet it smells like fish. You fucking
Damn.
whore.
Oh,
Yes.
God.
In Arabic, like there's not been as much hate.
Yeah.
And the negative comments are like, my sister, it would be nice if you didn't swear.
Yeah.
For the most part, like a few people, there's a few people because I made a joke video about like the difference between slut and whore in Arabic. And so a bunch of people went in and were like, which one are you?
Okay.
Or like people will be like, oh, you're a whore. And I'm like, my name is Ho Grammar. You're not hurting me.
Yeah. I was like when you say somebody call you ho, I'm like, it's in the name. Like you gotta
Yes.
So Ho Grammar, that's on everything, right?
Yes. Ho
Okay.
Grammar, TikTok, Instagram.
And
End
you
of list.
And you have a monthly show you do? Is that?
We're working on getting the next one scheduled.
But you can find all that on your IG.
Yes, you can find it on my IG. I'll post where I'm going to be and stuff.
Well, real quick, where's the venue? Or like,
Oh, the venue is at Kilowatt SF.
and does it have a name or anything?
The name of the show is Too Lazy for New York, Too Crazy for
Oh
LA.
yeah. That's a good room.
All right, I just
Dude, it was
It was
fun.
awesome. It was fun. You found it?
Yeah, I just
All right.
just followed you.
All right. Thank you so much again for making
so much,
time to
Annette.
come
Thank you
out.
for having me.
All right, that's been the Voice Party.
And we're out. Woo! Those